Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, all. How do you do?
Sir, good morning.
Sir, we
Good
are
morning,
well.
sir.
Sir.
Okay. Keeping well?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, last time we had begun with a topic that is written on the board. Can you see it clearly, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Are you able to hear my voice clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much for responding. Is the board visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, we were reading the topic that is for you, literary device, and perhaps we shall be able to finish this today. So just before we begin, the aim of the class is written for you to read, understand, and apply the poetic devices, whatever we learn in our language, in reading, in writing, in speaking. So before we begin, just let's recap whatever the poetic device we read last time, and after the revision, after the recap, we can continue the new ones today. Yes, so whosoever remember can tell me the first one. Yeah, any one of you tell me what is the first one we had begun the last
Simile.
time?
Last time.
Yes, speak.
So we
Anyone of
started from allusion.
louder?
So we started from allusion last
Okay,
time.
yes. So just a quick recap of whatever we learned. First, we learned simile. Second one was metaphor. I'm asking whatever we have already done. Third one
Okay.
we did was
Hyperbole.
hyperbole, that is exaggeration. And be ready with the example and definition of all this. Meanwhile, I am writing it on the board. Personification is next. So revise in your mind
Onomatopoeia.
the definition of all this topic: onomatopoeia, imagery. I just wanted to check whether you remember or not, but it seems that you forget very soon.
No,
Foreshadow.
sir, you asked it in last class from where we started.
Okay, foreshadow, then alliteration. Now it's clicking to your mind. You are able to remind
Yes,
again.
sir.
Next, allude.
Allusion.
Remember?
Yes, sir.
Paradox.
Euphemism.
Symbolism. Symbolism. Idiom. And oxymoron. Next one, euphemism. Next one is
Cliche.
cliche. Till here we had finished last time, isn't it?
No, sir, you didn't tell the definition of cliche.
Means we had just started this point, cliche. we had finished up to euphemism, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So we have to begin today from this topic, this title, that is cliche. Now what is this? But before starting with this, let's just recap. First one, simile. Simile is used for comparing two things, objects, with words like, as, and sometime so. Next one again, metaphor. Metaphor also is used for comparison, but it is used for comparing two things or person or place, but without using the words like or as. Next one is hyperbole. Now hyperbole is exaggeration, exaggerating the things, okay? Making a mountain of mole, that is exaggeration. For example, I am so hungry, I could eat a complete horse, I could eat a mountain. Next is personification, that is adding qualities of human beings to inanimate objects or non-living things. For example, yesterday night I was standing outside and I saw there was a star, it was smiling at me. Next is onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is the topic or the phrase which represent the sound with the same word. So it has got sound with the same word. Next is imagery. Imagery, it strikes to our five senses: smell, touch, and all the three other senses, especially used in poetry. Next one is foreshadow or foreshadowing, which is also used to give pre-assumption, pre-knowledge about any important or major event or incident that is going to happen, that is going to take place. Next one is alliteration. Now what is alliteration? Who can tell me alliteration? Just tell me, any one of you. What is
So
alliteration?
may I?
Yes, say.
The
Repetition of a
not same
particular
consonant
letter.
sounds in words occurring near one another.
Okay, so repetition of consonant sound, repetition of same sound in a sentence, alliteration. Next is allusion. Allusion is giving reference to historical event or historical figure. For example, MacDonald or Hercules, or whatever the historical figure you want to make a reference in poetry and drama, that is allusion. Next is paradox. Paradox is, it seems to be contradictory, but it is true. For example, he is a brave coward. This is the beginning of the end. Next is symbolism. In symbolism, symbols are used for deeper meaning. It just represents the next or deeper meaning other than the literal meaning. Next one is idiom. Idiom are the phrases, the word, the sentence which has again got deeper meaning, which is which doesn't even present the literal meaning, but also another hidden meaning. Next one is oxymoron. Oxymoron also to contradict parts of speech, to contradict words written in the poem. For example, a peaceful war, definite maybe, original copy, only choice, keep moving. So all these are the example. Next one is euphemism, last one, last time we did. So that is polite word or phrase used in place of one that may be too direct. So polite words, polite sentence instead of using hard words. Example, he passed away. Instead of saying somebody died, you could say he passed away. The boss let go the employee. So instead of saying fired the employee, you can say let go. Instead of saying poor, you can say he belongs to working class. Then again another example, he had purchased a second-hand car. Instead of saying a second-hand car, you could say he has purchased a pre-owned car. So the meaning is same, but the way of saying is different, so that the person who is listening, he may not feel embarrassed or bad. Next one is cliche. Yes, clear everybody last time what we did? Yes? Those who are there? Shreya
Yes,
Khandelwal,
sir.
Keshav, Akansha, Sahil. Okay. So now next one is cliche. And now what is cliche? It's an expression that has lost its power because of overuse, because of being used again and again. So there are many sentences or phrase which have been used many often, many time in our writing, in our speech, in our saying, in our conversation, and they lose their importance. So that is called cliche. So example, you can see talking a mile a minute. So for example, sometime you say that teacher talks a mile a minute. So it's very common. He talks very fast. He is talking a mile a minute. Next, quiet as a mouse. When I entered the classroom, he was quiet as a mouse. Keep quiet as a mouse. So all these are the phrases used. Easy as pie. English is as easy as a pie. English or mathematics is easy as pie. So all these are the statements which have been overused. Again, you must know reading between the lines. You must know how to read between the lines. Your English teacher, other teacher tells you, you must know how to read between the lines.
Sir,
And especially in the story it is used. They all lived happily ever after. Especially in the movies, in the comedy, in the drama, in the story, it is narrated the final concluding line of any drama or story. After that, they lived happily forever. So whatever the sentence you have in your mind, you would see that it has been overused, and because of overuse, it has lost its power. That is cliche. Next one we move on to, that is pun. Pun means fun. Yes. What is pun? Have you heard this word earlier? Pun?
excuse,
Any one of you? Yes or no?
excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Speak louder. Speak louder,
Sir,
Aditya. Yes, Aditya.
sir, what is the difference between synecdoche and cliche?
Synecdoche and difference
Cliche.
between synecdoche and cliche. So first let the synecdoche topic come. Then you would see the difference. Okay, so first
So may I?
no, just wait. First you listen. What is pun and what is synecdoche? Because till now we have not read it. So first let us finish this. Then automatically you would understand the difference. Automatically you would understand. And there is a difference. There is a big difference between the two terms. And once we go through this, you will understand. So first somebody was saying, yes, pun. Somebody wanted to say.
Yes, sir. So pun is a word which is used, which gives a double meaning or two meanings of the same word.
Okay, so pun is a humorous play on words often involving double meanings. It's a humorous play on words. Pun is play on words. You are playing with words. Sometimes it gives, usually it gives double meaning. Double meaning means not negative, but two meanings. What I want to say here, double meaning means two meanings, two different meanings. Okay. So example you could have, see first one, life is worth living, it depends on the liver. Whether life is worth living depends on whom? Liver. Now what is the meaning of liver? Whether life is worth living depends on liver. What is the meaning of liver here? Anyone?
An organ or one who lives.
And
Yes.
who lives.
So first one you can say a person who lives, that's a liver. And second one is organ, liver. If our liver is healthy, then life would be healthy. So whether life is worth living depends on liver. Liver means a person who lives. Another first meaning, and second meaning is liver, the body organ. Some more example you could have for your reference. That is,
Sir,
a man stole a case of soap from the corner store. He made a clean getaway. Yes, somebody was saying something. Somebody was
sir,
saying,
in the poem we have read not move our arms so much.
What do you want to say?
Example of pun.
Example of
Not move our arms so much in the poem.
not move our arms so much. Yes. So not move. Let's not move our arms so much. Very correct. So arm has got two meaning. Yes. What are those two meaning in the poetry?
Sir, one arm for the body part,
Yes.
another
One
for
is this
weapons.
body part,
Weapon.
arm, hand, and second one is arms. That is the weapons.
Weapons.
Yes. Very good. Very good memory. Very sharp memory. So like this, you would be able to reflect. And then I was saying that a man stole a case of soap from the corner store. He made a clean getaway. So he made a clean getaway means it has got two meaning. He made a clean getaway means he ran without being noticed, without being caught. And second meaning is he cleaned the gate while running. Another one, again, a bicycle can't stand on its own because it is too tired. Now when I am writing TWO2, tired, TIRED. So because it is too tired. So it has got two meaning. Too tired means it has got too tired, and another is I am very tired. I am too tired. So that's what pun is. Last one I can say, a pessimist blood type is always B negative. Pessimist means what? Somebody who is always negative. And I am saying a pessimist blood group is always B negative. So these are the example of one. Lastly, finally, you might have seen somewhere parking area. Frog parking only. What do you mean by frog parking? Frog parking only means reserve parking. Parking is reserved for a customers or employee. And it's written all others will be towed. Others will be towed. TOAD. So frog parking only, all others will be towed. Now you know toad is the young ones of the frog. but it has got meaning. It has got a deeper meaning. Frog parking means reserve parking for customers or employee. Others will be towed. So as I say, toad is the young one of the frog. At the same time, here there is a word TOW, towing of the vehicles. You know, sometimes when vehicles are not parked on the proper place, they are towed by the towing van, towing vehicle. So that meaning it has got. Clear now, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is synecdoche? It's coming, so you would be able to understand the difference between pun and synecdoche. Now, next one we move on to, that is anaphora. Anaphora. Have you heard this term earlier, anaphora? No?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, anaphora, in writing or speech, the deliberate repetition of first part of the sentence in order to achieve an artistic effect is known as anaphora. So, repetition of the first part, repetition of the first word or second word, you could say first part of the sentence in every stanza, line, that is anaphora. Example, love is an irresistible desire to be irresistibly desired. Another example, every day, every night, in every way, I am getting better and better. I'm writing it here. Every day, every night. So suppose this line is there. Every day, every night, in every way, I am getting better and better. So you could see the use, the repetition of word every.
Sir.
Same way, my life
Sir.
is my purpose. My life is my goal. So again you would see my life is being repeated. My life is my inspiration. Yes, somebody was saying something. Say
So please tell the definition again.
definition.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So anaphora definition is, it is used in writing or speech, the repetition of the first part of the sentence. Repetition of the first part of the sentence in order to achieve an artistic effect. Again I repeat, a repetition of the first part of the sentence. So when first part of the sentence, for example, it is written every day, every night, every year, then again sometime in the next sentence also it is repeated. What, which word? Might be a word, might be two words. For example, every. Another example I was going to give you, that is, my life is my purpose. Second, my life is my goal. Third, my life is my inspiration. So you are seeing the word my life is repeated. That is called anaphora. And in poetry especially, poetry, you might have seen the usage of this term anaphora. Now when you read the poetry, any poetry, you would be able to reflect, you would be able to connect yourself. Next is assonance, and I think assonance is very clear to everybody. What is assonance? Anyone, if you remember, what is assonance?
The repetition of line.
Yes, repetition of assonance, consonance. It is something like alliteration, but different from that.
Repetition of sounds.
Repetition of same line.
Repetition
The
of.
same vowel.
So this figure of speech is similar to alliteration because it also involves repetition of sounds, but this time it's vowel sound that are being repeated. So here in assonance, vowel sounds are repeated. Assonance creates internal rhyming within phrase or sentence by repeat. By repeating vowel sound that are the same. Example, I can say here, on a proud round cloud in white high night. On a proud, so you can see the sound. Which sound is being repeated? On a proud round cloud. Yes, you're able to see. Proud
Yes, sir.
round cloud, high nigh. Another sentence. Hear the mellow wedding bells by Edgar Allan. So many examples you could give your own. Next one is apostrophe. Next term is apostrophe. Now what's apostrophe? In literature, apostrophe is a figure of speech, sometimes represented by an exclamation, such as, oh. A writer or speaker using apostrophe speaks directly to someone who is not present or who is dead, or he speaks to an inanimate object. So remember, apostrophe especially used in drama, Shakespeare drama, to inanimate object or things, or to person who is dead. You remember Julius Caesar when we read in 10th class, if you remember, Julius Caesar.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So
Yes,
Oh
sir.
my.
when Mark Antony
Was
came, and saw the body of Julius Caesar, he started crying, he started weeping, and out of his sadness, he spoke such words. So there was a dagger, there was a knife. With that dagger, with that knife, he was killed. So Mark Antony spoke, is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand. Come, let me clutch thee. So if you remember that time, you also know that there was no one on the stage. All those conspirators, they had left him all alone. They had gone. Another example, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. So this is very simple, very ordinary. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. So he's talking to star. So talking to any inanimate objects, inanimate things, or when somebody is dead, that is apostrophe. When somebody is not present on the stage or in front of that person. Next one is antithesis. So antithesis. Antithesis. Now, antithesis also like oxymoron or another one, paradox. Okay. In antithesis, a striking opposition or contrast of words or sentiment is made in the same sentence. Once again, I repeat, what happens? In antithesis, a striking opposition or contrast of words or sentiment. So there is contrast of words or sentiment in the same sentence. That is called antithesis. It is employed to secure emphasis. So it is used to emphasize certain sentence, certain meaning. Example, speech is silver, but silence is golden. Speech is silver, but silence is golden. That is antithesis. Another example you could have, love and hate are the two different sides of a coin. Love,
So one more time we have read.
what?
So one more example that we have
Yes.
read in the poem.
Yes, give the example if you remember. Yes, say.
In keeping quiet, we have read it counts still.
Yes, count still. Count still. Count and still. Both the things together. Another one you could have, that is peace and war. Peace and war. Good and evil are part of one's life. Next comes synecdoche, which you were interested in. Here is synecdoche, synecdoche. Now, what is synecdoche or synecdoche? See the definition. In synecdoche, a part is used to designate the whole or vice versa. In synecdoche, a part is used to designate, to represent the whole, or the whole to designate a part. Means here, one part. For example, if you remember the poetry we read again in 10th class, the hand that mocked, remember, and the mouth that fed. Which poetry? King Ozymandias. Remember?
Yes, sir.
King Ozymandias, the hand that fed and the face that mocked. Now here, when the hand is used, so the hand is merely not used for the sake of body part, but it is used for the complete personality of the King Ozymandias. Likewise, another examples of synecdoche you could have, give us today our daily bread. O God, give us today our daily bread. What do you mean by daily bread?
Food.
So livelihood
Food.
or food.
Give us today our food. So daily bread here doesn't stand for the bread of the whole life or bread of every day, but it stands for food. Give us today our daily bread. Give us today our food. Another one, England won the first test match against Australia. When I say England won the first test match against Australia, what I mean to say? When I say England, do you think the whole nation, the whole country,
No,
the whole people of England? Yes?
no,
England?
sir.
No. What I want to say is English
The players
cricket
of that country.
team. The English cricket team. So that's what. Now you got the difference. Aditya, you were asking the difference between pun and synecdoche. Now you got the difference.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's move on to another one, that is litotes. Next one is litotes. And what is litotes? A poetic device. An affirmative is conveyed by negation of the opposite. So in litotes, an affirmative is conveyed by negation of the opposite. The effect being to suggest a strong expression by means of a weaker. It is the opposite of hyperbole. Remember, litotes is opposite of hyperbole, exaggeration. Example, the man is no fool. When I say the man is no fool, what does it mean? The man is no fool.
He is,
What does it mean?
he
Yes?
is wise.
He is very clever. He is very intelligent. He is very smart. The man is no fool. So you are using negative. You are using no. And negative, it makes it what? Positive. Another example. There
Sir, may I
isn't
say?
anything I won't eat when I am hungry. Listen carefully. There isn't anything I won't eat when I am hungry. Means to say I will eat anything when I am hungry. I will eat anything and everything when I am hungry. Yes, one of you can give me another example.
Sir,
Yes,
may I say?
louder.
Sir, Rohit Sharma is not an ordinary batsman.
Yes. So this is not a horribly batsman. Another one, somebody want to say? Anyone? Anyone of you? Okay, next one we move on to, that is anastrophe. 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 What is anastrophe? This is rearrangement of the parts of a sentence or phrase that changes the proper or accepted word order. So rearrangement of the sentence. So sometime you have seen in the poetry, in the poem, in the drama, the poet has rearranged the instead of saying I was very hungry, I could eat anything. He has used the sentence eat anything, hungry was I. Have you seen this kind of archaic words, archaic sentence? Remember or not? Hungry so much was I, ate anything. So here he doesn't emphasize on the proper structure of the sentence, rather he rearranges it in order to emphasize the importance of the event, important of the sentence. Remember or not?
Yes, sir.
Persuade you I shall. For example, I shall kill you. I shall kill you. It could be said, kill you shall I. I shall teach you English. English teach you shall I. That is
Can I give one more
anastrophe.
example?
Just rearranging the words. And
So in
next,
poetry, the thing of beauty,
yes,
we have read that are we reading?
once again repeat.
So in poetry, the beautiful thing, we read that are we reading?
Are we reading? Yes, are we reading? So proper sentence is we are reading a flowery band, and it was written are we reading a flowery band. Very good. Are we reading? Very good example from the poetry. Next one is irony. And irony, you know it very well. Verbal irony, situational irony, and dramatic irony. So irony is the use of words that mean the opposite of what you really think, especially in order to be funny. Irony is use of words that mean the opposite of what you really think, especially in order to be funny. Example, suppose I look at someone